Hey guys, just before we start this video, I would like to point out that I was originally going to upload this video on the 24th of August, August 24th, but real life stuff got in the way. So, anyways, that's why I kind of had to delay the video to today, obviously at the time of uploading. But anyways, yeah, so I guess without further ado, without rambling on so much about what we're going to be talking about in this video, but anyways, we'll let you see it for yourself. Anyways, let's get on to the video, shall we? Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So just recently we just did a Windows 95 installation for its 30th anniversary, on August 24th, 1995. Well, because it's August 24th also happens to be the day that this operating system right here, Windows NT Workstation 4.0. Yep, Windows NT Workstation 4.0 was released on the same day that Windows 95 released in 1995, but this time a year later, a year after Windows 95 release. This was 1996. So, what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be installing this into my Intel Compaq, which is the Compaq Presario 7000 series with an Intel Pentium III processor and 933 megahertz, but not within the computer itself, not natively. We're going to be using a VM here, just like I did with Windows 95. As you can see, I still have the VM up on here. I'm going to create new, create virtual machine, and we'll name it Windows NT 4.0. Yeah, Windows NT Workstation, 64 megs, new hard disk. Yes, go ahead and set up everything for us, and I'll hopefully put this shiny disk that I just recently created into the disk drive. You probably can't see the disk well because I have everything focused onto this computer screen. And I'll start it, use the physical drive, and full screen, here we go. Setup is expecting your computer's hardware configuration. Windows NT setup. This seems familiar. I mean, you have used a Windows NT based operating system since Windows XP or even Windows 2000. You might be familiar with this one. Very basic stuff. Not that much. Oh, whoa. It's got a boot screen there too. Oh, wow. It's got a text-based boot screen there too. So it's not like it says, after all those, it'll say, setup is starting Windows NT. It'll go into this screen. I mean, yeah, that's what Windows NT boot screen looked like back in the day. Welcome to Setup. This setup program for the Windows NT operating system version 4.0 prepares Windows NT to run on your computer. I'll set up Windows NT now. Oh yes. Setup has determined that one or more of your hard disk has more than 124 cylinders. Setup detected that your computer's startup hard disk is new or has been erased. C for that. Oh, and then the end user license agreement. F8. Oh, this one, you had to actually scroll all the way down to see F8, to press F8. Yeah. Setup detect that your computer contains the hardware and software components. Yes, the above list matches my computer. And now it goes to this familiar site, unpartitioned space. And we will format using NTFS, not FAT. Oh, it's too large. You must return to the previous screen and select or create a smaller partition. So do we really have to create a partition within this unpartitioned space? I'll press C, or I'll just delete it because it seems like it's, yeah, I'll press L. In megabytes, So how about because I mean 4096 partition, then NTFS. There we go. That's Windows NT 4.0 seems to be kind of picky with the size of the partitions for some reason. But newer versions of Windows NT, especially Windows 2000 and up, kind of copes with that, you know. NT 4.0 is kind of like, you know, it's a bit finicky. I mean, NT 4.0 is a workstation OS. It's meant for businesses, not home users. But, you know, even Windows 2000 is meant for business, but, you know, what else can you do when you got virtualization software, you know? Now it's formatting disks. This is before you had to like quick format stuff there. Setup installs Windows NT files onto your hard disk. So that's the default location, WinNT. You know, all this extra stuff that Windows NT 4 is showing, Windows 2000 Windows 2000 removed all of that, so it's just more like an automated process, almost like. Please wait while setup copies files to your hard disk. Here we go. So yeah, it's the old familiar setup process that you're most of you are probably accustomed to, like in Windows XP or whatever, even Windows 2000. Here we have it in Windows NT 4. Now let's go to copy all the files, and I'll be back with you guys in a sec. Alright, please wait. This portion of the setup has completed successfully. If there's a floppy disk, remove it. Also remove any compact disks from your CD-ROM drives. That includes the one that we're using right now. Ideally, I could leave the CD-ROM in. Because, I mean, even Windows 2000 didn't prompt me for that. Press Enter to restart your computer. When your computer restarts, setup will continue. Now, this was before we had that little, your computer will automatically restart thingery here. It will automatically restart this section, but not here. So, you just had to do like manually, so. Oh, booting that again. That's probably why it was saying, please remove any disk from the drives. Disk I/O error. Setup cannot continue. Press any key to exit. So just basically copied everything. Oh wow, there is the boot screen. Checking hardware. Look at all that stuff. Oh, it blue screen. It blue screen at startup. Why is this? K mode exception not handled. Great. Now it's frozen. Okay, let's check it again. I mean, if this doesn't work, we shall try using, yeah, it's not gonna work. Let's try using VGA mode. I mean, I think this is probably the check debug version or some. VGA mode, okay. Checking hardware. OS loader version 4. Alright, let's see if this. Yeah, this should hopefully work. It hopefully won't blue screen at this stage. One system processor, 64 megabytes of memory, multi-processor kernel. So. Yeah, this is what the boot screen looks like. It's just a simple text-based blue screen boot screen. Look at all those things. Oh, wow. It's doing a little check disk. Yeah, it's doing check disk on there. All this other stuff. And it's converting it to NTFS. And it's rebooting. And it's gonna load through the top option again, which will again blue screen. Which it probably might do that again. Oh, it not. It didn't blue screen here. It didn't blue screen here. Yeah. Init system root arc name, and that's the first partition on the drive. So it's listing some extra things on here. But yeah, this is what the, and now it's doing a check disk yet again. But yeah, this is what Windows NT 4.0's boot screen looked like. So it's not the graphical one that we've seen in Windows 2000 up. Yep, this is the check debug build because we see the watermark at the top. So now a retail version. But here we go, Windows NT setup. Setup is initializing. I have copying file. Oh wow. Now we need to insert that disk into the drive now. So we had to like eject it out for the time being and then put it back. Ideally, I could also copy the files to the i386 folder, but I'm not too sure about that. Look at that, i386. And all that other stuff. And it seems like I won't be needing the disk from this point forward. Oh wow, Windows NT setup. Welcome to the Windows NT setup which will guide you through the rest of the setup. The next 3 parts of setup are gathering information, installing NT networking. Windows NT networking. Why does it say that? And then finishing setup. And look at the little Windows logo alongside the starry background. Prepping for install. So once again, it's kind of like the Windows 95 setup, except, you know, for on the NT based system. So we'll use custom, and I will go ahead and type in my name and the organization and a computer name. We need a computer name, so type in just type in Tower PC, admin account, no emergency repair disk. Accessories, what's under here? We got all the accessories here. We need mouse pointers. We need desktop wallpapers. We need every single accessory available. And we need the games, because those are disabled by default. And we need, yes, we do have the sample sounds checked up there, so at least that's accounted for. Windows 95 didn't make it as a default for some reason. And we want the extra sound schemes and Windows messaging too. Only a few things. Because I mean, this is a workstation business focused OS. Now it's going to be installing Windows NT networking. It says there 3 times. Setup is preparing to initialize Windows NT networking. Now it's network setup. Wired to the network. Do not connect the computer to a network at this time. Now finishing setup. Setup is configuring your computer to run Windows NT. Now it's creating the menu groups and items. Now it's configuring your computer to run NT again. Oh, and here comes the time zone thing. And this is the one where you can no longer select the map to drag around. So you actually have to use the drop down menu. So I use specific time zone, close. And whoa, the system found the following this video adapter in your machine. S3 compatible display adapter. So I will go into true color. 1024 by 768 at 60 Hertz. Let's test it. Whoa, the virtual machine is using a video mode that's yeah. That's what it looks like. It has a little test function there. Did you see the test bitmap properly? Yes. Click OK. Setup is configuring computer to run Windows NT yet again. Now it's copying all the files from the CD to the disk itself. So this might take a while. Alright, it seems like it's done here. So I will go ahead and oh, now it's setting up a few things. Windows messaging. Now it's updating the start menu shortcuts and reconfiguring the computer, setting security on system files. I never seen this before. Not on any Windows installation, stuff before. Not even Windows 95 either. This is Windows NT 4.0. It's probably the first time I've seen this. Setting security on system files. And by the way, the setup background is pretty much identical to the one in Windows 95, except a little bit darker colored or something. Now it's saving the configuration. It's just like a little progress bar on there. And now it's removing temporary installation files. Windows NT 4.00 has been installed successfully. I don't know why there's like 2 zeros. Remove disks from floppy drives and compact disks from the CD-ROM drives. And choose Restart Computer. Hit enter on that one. Now let's go into Windows NT for the very first time. Probably the check debug build version because we got watermark. And here's what the boot screen looks like. So Windows NT Workstation 4.0 or Windows NT 4.0 by default uses a boot screen. Well, boot menu, obviously. So we got a choice for that or VGA mode. We'll select this one. Now it's checking the hardware and then it's going to go ahead to load all the stuff for the stuff. And it's going to... Oh, it crashed again. Okay. VGA mode it is. How do I actually restart? Oh, reset is right Alt R. Yes, it's R. So just go ahead and just restart from there. If you reset the virtual machine, yes. 64 megs. Yeah, I'll use VGA mode. We need to use VGA mode because obviously the default option isn't going to cut it. Now it's loading all the stuff here. Only a few. And it crashed. Are we really not going to go into Windows NT 4.0 now? Even though we have everything set up. I mean, granted, this is the check debug build version. So it seems like we're definitely not going anywhere this time. Yeah, it's just blue screening. It's just blue screening out of the wazoo. Let's try the top option again, and if that doesn't work, I'll probably go to another installation of Windows NT Workstation 4.0 that's hopefully retail, not check debug version. Because now we have gone this errors here. Blue screens out the wazoo, so it seems like, you know, I may as well use a retail disk. So I'm just going to turn that off. Alright, I'm back here. And I burned myself a Service Pack 1 of Windows NT Workstation 4.0 disk. So I'm going to be using this to replace the check debug version of the Windows NT 4.0 RTM. Alright, welcome to setup. It prepares Windows NT to run on your computer. Yes. Examining 857. I agree. Whoa, setup has found Windows NT on your hard disk in the directory shown below. Windows NT Workstation version 4.00. Setup recommends upgrading this Windows NT installation to Windows NT version 4.0. Let's try upgrading it. Well, I think we're just gonna have to go ahead and yeah, it's gonna go straight into upgrading it from RTM to Service Pack 1. At least this should At least this should be the way for us to do things. Now it's going to copying files, and I'll be back. Alright, please wait while setup initializes your Windows NT configuration. And now we shall remove the disk from the drive. And as soon as we enter setup, we shall put the disk back in the drive yet again. Alright. Let's hope it doesn't blue screen again. If it does, we'll have to go into... Oh, wow. They did change... They changed the bootloader a bit. So now we just got dots up there. Yep, build 1381, service pack 1, one system processor, 64 megabytes of memory. And we don't get the multi-processor kernel at the top there. So it's just pretty basic. They did kind of refine things here a bit, make it more simplified with those dots instead of all the other extraneous stuff. Whoa! What kind of resolution are we in now? 1024 by 768. Now we're gonna go ahead and put that in there. It's kind of odd to see the Windows NT. There's the beep again. And image burn has successfully burned the disk. So, excuse me for a moment, but you can see here. Welcome to the Windows NT Setup Wizard, which will guide you through the rest of the setup. We already talked about that. Now it's prepping for the installation. Emergency repair disk. No, we don't want to do that. Now it's going to go through the whole setup. Finalizing the setup. So it's already done. Windows NT networking and stuff. You know, unlike Windows 95's setup, where it shows you the little billboards, this you just get a little basic copying files section here with no billboards. I mean, you know, being in a business-based OS, it doesn't really matter to have billboards showcasing what the OS can do and whatnot. You know, it's kind of unnecessary in that sense. Now it's upgrading NT. Now it's saving the configuration yet again. I just hope it doesn't blue screen. Windows NT has been successfully upgraded to version 4.00. Once again, Y2 zeros. But, you know, remove any disk from floppy drives and compact disk from CD-ROM drives and choose restart computer, which we'll do now. So we rebooted. Alright, you gotta select this here. Checking hardware. Once again, we got those dots up there, which that will change in Windows 2000 to be a more like a line bar coming across the screen. Anyways, Microsoft Windows NT version 4.0, build 1381, service pack 1, one system processor, 64 megabytes of memory. That's a bit of a mouthful. But yeah, this was what Windows NT 4.0's boot screen looked like. And we got those dots up there. Oh, this again. Full screen. Whoa! We're actually on the desktop of Windows NT Workstation 4.0. Oh god. In 1024 by 768 true color as well. Press Control-Alt-Delete to log on. Well, Control-Alt-Delete is set by default. Okay, Control-Alt. Did you see that animation move? Yeah, I saw that. Control-Alt-Delete. Enter username and password that is valid for this system. Let me go under. Oh, I picked the wrong mouse. I was clicking my main computer mouse. Use the compact one. Help. Before you can use the computer, you must log on. Press the tab key to move between options in the dialog box. Log on, yada yada yada, all that stuff. Let's just use admin for now. Huh, no sound. But oh well, I mean, there's no sound drivers installed, but control panel, sounds. Yeah, no playback devices, obviously. Not for NT 4.0, but we did at least get some NTs, some NT based sounds, NT log on and log off sounds, and interestingly enough, still includes the Microsoft sound from Windows 95, which I can actually set that as an option. And it still contains its own previewed icon there too, that's contained in the metadata still. But I think with all this, we need to get this thing with VM editions first. We need to install that, and this is Service Pack 1 of Windows NT Workstation 4. It doesn't actually show on there, but is it WinVer? Yeah, Service Pack 1, it shows on there, but not in this window. A setup detected an incompatible version of Windows, so we need to be installing Service Pack 6 for that. So I'll be going ahead. Well, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm just going to, because we already completed Windows NT 4.0 a workstation 4.0 setup. So yeah, and I guess that's pretty much it. That's pretty much about it for this one. Again, the whole interface is identical to that of Windows 95, you know. All the included apps and whatnot. And this is obviously a pure 32-bit version of Windows 95 in a sense. Look at this. It's listing x86 Family 6 Model 8 Stepping 6 AT compatible, just like how it does in Windows 2000. And all the boot stuff and such. So it's a version of Windows NT that uses the Windows 95 desktop metaphor, you know, and the Windows Classic interface. It also contained the Microsoft Plus and Windows 95 options available out of the box. So we can smooth edges of screen fonts. And do we do this? It's gonna, that's gonna look ugly. And we can also show icons using all possible colors, which we need to restart NT. We will not do that, because these are the default set of icons that came with, well, the default high color icons that came in Microsoft Plus Windows 95. As for screensavers, we got a bunch of things, including all the OpenGL screensavers. Let's take a look at the logon screensaver looks like. It just shows that, or it just says begin logon. Press Control Delete to log on. It's basically just a bitmap of that. It's like an animated bitmap, the same bitmap that shows. And obviously that still remains, variants of that remained up until Windows XP. You know, for that thing anyway. Still got the Mystify screensaver. Starfield Simulation. Again, it does not include the Flying Windows one, because that's only available in like Windows 9X and whatnot. But it does include all the other ones. Marquee. Your text goes here. That's basically the same as it is. Flower box. That's what it looks like. The Flying Windows. And 3D Maze. Oh wow, that is so super laggy. 3D pipes, 3D text. I'll just use 3D Maze, even though that alone is very laggy. Look at that. Even in a simulated 640 by 480 resolution too. But yeah, I'll go ahead and shut it down. And this is what it looks like when you shut down Windows NT Workstation 4. Shut down in progress, and now it is now safe to turn off your computer. So instead of just actually just shutting down the OS, the OS still remains on, and you had to actually shut down the VM or the OS or the computer itself. But there's a button to restart, which we can click that, and then it restarts the OS for us. So it's like a software restart, in fact. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and shut off here, and yeah, that'll be about it for this video. Me installing Windows NT Workstation 4.0. Just 1 year shy of its 30th anniversary next year, because Windows NT 4.0 was released on August 24th, 1996. So the same day that Windows 95 was released, except 1 year later, you know. Hey guys, future me here. So as I was doing things off camera, I actually did some more to Windows NT 4.0 off camera, which I'll show you right now. Just gonna go full screen here. Yep, 256 megs, okay, because I did actually increase the VM's memory from 64 to 256. And as you just saw, we don't have the other options in the bootloader. In fact, the proper bootloader doesn't not showing up anymore because I removed one entry from boot.ini. And now we're booting into Windows NT 4.0 with Service Pack 6 installed to it. I actually installed all the service packs that were released for Windows NT 4 up to Service Pack 6A. And now we're booting into the desktop, which I'll go ahead and show here. Begin logon. Press Control Delete to log on, which I will do. Right Alt Delete. Enter a username and password that is valid for the system. Yada yada yada. Yep, all that jazz. And I actually installed sound drivers in this thing, so we actually get to hear this. Yep, that's the Windows NT 4.0 startup sound. Sounds a lot more complex than the Windows 95 one. It's also in stereo too. Ding sound works. See all the other sounds too. Let's take a look at that test bit map just to see. That's what it looks like. Yes. We can also go into the control panel and find the other sounds here too. So we could play this sound again if we want, which I might do now. Once again, that's the Windows NT logon sound. This is what it is. But interestingly enough, it still has the Windows 95 startup sound, aka the Microsoft sound, and it still comes with its own little dedicated icon in the preview section here within its metadata. So let's play it. Which I think actually makes kind of sense, because as you can pretty much see, you can pretty much tell just by the start menu and the way the icons look and everything else, it looks similar to Windows 95, just within the NT code base, because NT 4.0 adopted the Windows 95 interface, because the previous one, which was NT 3.51, used the older Windows 3.1 interface. But yeah, as you can see here, we go to my computer. I have already customized it already, so we can obviously take a look that we already got the toolbar set. I already have I don't have this option set, but because I had the toolbar set, I can just switch back to this. That way we can open up windows, open up directories in the same window as we're seeing here, like how you do in modern Windows. But by default, Explorer windows used to look like this. And when you click on a folder, it will open up another Explorer window with a different directory. So that was the thing back then. But better yet, all the features remain the same, including a version of Internet Explorer. This is version 2 for Windows NT. So this is the pure 32-bit version of, well, the 32-bit version for NT, obviously. Thank you for using Microsoft Internet Explorer on Windows NT 4. You can use Microsoft Internet Explorer to browse web pages on your local network and or on the internet. Then we got the briefcase, which acts like how it is on Windows 95. Got the recycle bin, the inbox. I believe that goes to Exchange. Oh no, Windows messaging. Windows messaging goes there. Which we will not do that. Cancel. No profiles were created. Cannot be. Yeah. Microsoft Exchange is, well, I mean, this is actually Windows messaging. Well, it's also called Microsoft Exchange. We also got the other games here: Free Cell, Mine, Super Pinball, Solitaire, Hyper Terminal stuff. See CompuServe, AT&T Mail, MCI Mail, Microsoft BBS, Hyper Terminal BBS, Bulletin Board Stations is what you call it. Media Player, the same as it is. And you got Sound Recorder on here. Basically standard Windows apps, and CD player here too. Nothing different. And because we're running on a virtualized Sound Blaster 16, it even has bad FM synthesis emulation with it too. If I can find the Canyon thingy, play a little bit just to hear. Very laggy. It's low bit rate and sounds a lot more worse than what it is on Windows 95. Gotta turn down the synthesizer volume a bit. Oh yeah. It's low bit rate. Yeah, even that emulation is a bit on the lop side. Again, I wouldn't recommend playing like DOS games with FM synthesis emulation on a virtualization, any virtualization software even, because it varies. You'll be better off with DOSBox or real hardware. But anyways, NT Explorer. So they renamed Windows Explorer as NT Explorer because, yeah, why not? Call it like that. Then Command Prompt, which interestingly enough has the MS-DOS icon, but it actually loads up the actual command prompt as we see right here without the little toolbar and such. So this is just standard Windows command prompt, which if you actually type command or command.com, oh, it goes to there. So you can actually type in command and command.com obviously, but the standard is CMD. Okay, end task, not responding, CMD. And we can go to ver Windows NT version 4.0, help. So everything in there, CLS, exit. I can also do full screen here. Does that go? Alt enter. So there goes full screen here. Ver, dir, help, exit. Do I do win? It doesn't really do anything. But on Windows 95, it'll say you're already running Windows. By the way, we'll just exit out here, and now it's just resize the. So I found a solution for the little mouse thing. You just had to double click or click on the VM thing twice to get the mouse to sync up again. Now I'll do command.com ver. Wow, that even that's it's emulated or whatever. Dir, help. See how slow it got, but you know, either way, it's yeah, it's not responding. I can also show you this Task Manager, the NT Task Manager, the one that I'm familiar with, because it comes with a full-blown Task Manager, and obviously, when you hit Control Delete, this is NT Security as it is, and it looks identical to the one in Windows 2000. This is Windows 2000's version, and not that much different from NT 4.0's, because I mean the layout hasn't changed even. I can also show you this, right shift shutdown, or cancel. Oh, I locked the computer. Wow. And you control delete. Is it right control? Yes, right control. Emergency shutdown. You continue where your machine will reboot and any unsaved data will be lost. Use this only as a last resort. And the same thing happens on here too. Oh, I just pressed the wrong button. It's literally the same thing. It hasn't been changed since like what, 3.5 or 3.1 or whatever. NT 3.5, 3.1. And they even got an option for lock workstation. Let's see what that does. The workstation is in use and has been locked. It's called workstation. Was changed to computer, obviously. When, I'll demonstrate for you. Lock computer. Computer. Yeah. So they changed the word workstation to computer in Windows 2000, obviously, because... yeah. Same as it is. And we can open up the task manager from here. So here's the Windows NT task manager, as we're all familiar with like what? Windows 2000, Windows XP, Vista, and 7. It's the same basic design. Update the speed from a low, normal, high, or paused. I set to high. Show the kernel times. CPU history, 1 graph per CPU, and yeah, about task manager. All those things. Just your basic task manager. Open up a Explorer window, you can see the application process come up there. And yeah, got the briefcase. I think I've already showed that. Yeah, I've already showed that. What else we got? I've already shown the command prompt. Yeah, I already showed the command prompts. Got administrative tools. You got NT Diagnostics, a user manager. So this is how you would set up user accounts here, because you didn't have any sort of user account accessibility stuff. None here. There's no dedicated users and passwords utility that came with Windows 2000 and whatnot. User profiles, environment, performance, hardware profiles, startup shutdown. When a stop error occurs, do the following, all these things, and automatically reboot is disabled by default, but set by default on 2000 and later. Let's see, admin, guest, and yeah, and there's even no option to actually turn off the option to use press Control Delete to log on. That became an option in Windows 2000 and up. All these things. User rights, audit. And you can set up a new user here if you want in a local group, but all those things. Nothing on startup. Event viewer and whatnot. Disk admin. Let's take a look at that. Disk admin has determined that this is the first time disk admin has been run. More than one or more disks has been added to your computer since disk admin was run. System config will now be wow. This is disk administrator. So basically, before disk management, we have disk admin. So look at that free space. We got NTFS. Lots of free space on this partition, obviously. So much so that we could probably expand or something. But, yeah, before we had the disk management tool in Windows 2000, we had disk admin. This is what it looks like. But anyways, I think that's about it on what we had to show here. And I didn't show network neighborhood in Windows 95, but here in NT we got here unable to browse the network, so we can't show that. Find identical to that of Windows 95, so it shows everything in this list. Of course, you're not gonna go through all this. Help. So pretty much everything here. Same basic stuff. WinHelp 32 also there too as well. Taskbar features remain the same. Pretty much everything else remains consistent and same as it is with Windows 95 and stuff. Because yes, it is essentially Windows NT with the Windows 95 look and feel. Same dialog boxes there too. And yeah, that's about it here. Now I'm just go ahead and shut this thing on down. So we got 3 options, because you see that the other option is like restarting the MS-DOS mode. That's not in Windows NT, because NT is full 32-bit, not like the full 32-bit and does not rely on DOS, whereas 9X relies on DOS. But anyways, we're gonna shut down the computer here, and here we go. And yes, that is the actual log of sound, the shutdown sound of Windows NT 4.0. It's literally just the startup sound, just reversed or backwards. It is now safe to shut. It is now safe. It is now safe to turn off your computer. This is a window that's kind of present since Windows 3.1-ish or something, and this no longer appears in Windows 2000 or later, obviously, because the OS typically will shut down at that point, but here in 4.0, it stays on until you actually shut down the computer or you hit the restart button. So it's more similar in a sense to like what when you had like computers that would not fully power themselves down, you actually had to flip the switch. Similar to what old Mac computers and whatnot, and also plenty of other computers that had no way of turning themselves off without flipping the switch, which I'll go ahead and flip the switch virtually by turning it off. And there we have it. So I guess that about wraps up for this video. This long and drawn out video, but anyways, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope to see you all in the next one. See ya.